This is Camnet News. My name is Sharon Kalimbula. Thank you so much for joining us. Wherever you're watching us from, you're welcome on board. We look at the top stories tonight. Former Deputy Gender Minister in the Patriotic Front government, Esther BANDA, has died. LUARA MITI says Zambia's economy is bleeding due to the high debt coupled with high inflation. OCIDA comes under attack for wanting to help non-registered voters. And then international news, Bobi Wine fearful for life after MUSEVENI won his bid. And in sports news, MUZA FC attributes its loss to KONKOLA Blades to lack of a stadium. Join me shortly for the details.
2021 is finally here. Zambia is at the crossroads heading towards general elections this August. In the world where fake news, biased reporting on national issues has become the order of the day, in a world where social media in most cases spills lies and exaggerated information, insightful coverage, Zambia needs one media. Living in a country where people are slowly promoting tribalism, hatred, bitterness and revenge, political temperature is heating up and people's hearts are perplexed. Zambia needs one media. Zambia being a Christian nation living under the lordship of Jesus Christ, the nation cannot afford a compromised gospel. Zambia needs a prophetic media house. For hope, peace and unity, Zambia needs Camnet television for non-biased, factual reporting, balanced opinion, accurate news coverage. Zambia needs Camnet television for national projects and development of our beloved country Zambia. Watch Camnet TV on channel 274 DSTV, channel 98 on GOVT, and channel 106 on Topstar. Remember, Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Hello, have you heard about MUZA? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, MUZA is here. Advertise on MUZA between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact
+260 953 995099. +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467.
MUZA, allowing your business to grow.
Welcome on board. We now look at the news in detail. Former Gender Deputy Minister in the ruling Patriotic Front government, Esther BANDA, has died. Mrs. BANDA, who also served as Chilabombe Patriotic Front Member of Parliament from 2006 to 2016, died in the early hours of Sunday in Lusaka. Among other notables who have died in the past week and this week include renowned Zambian Jesuit priest Father Michael Kelly, aged 92, firstborn daughter to the late Regina Chifunda Chiloba Walia Mwanza, who died on the 16th of January 2021, Bishop of Mose Diocese Moses Hamongole, who died on the 13th of January 2021, among others. Other prominent persons that have recently passed on include former Gender Minister Sarah Saifwanda, who died on the 31st of December 2020, and former Education Deputy Minister, who also served as Mansa Central Member of Parliament Crispin Musosha, also died on the 9th of January 2021. Moving on in the news, the Civic Forum on Housing and Habitat Zambia has called on authorities to take proactive approach in addressing housing development in order to avert the challenges that have come as a result of unplanned settlements in Lusaka. Organization Executive Director Grace Mtonga notes that the challenges of floods experienced in several parts of Lusaka, such as John Leng in Kanyama constituency, is largely due to poor planning. Mrs. Mtonga notes that some houses have been constructed in water-rich zones while others are in the path of drainage network, thus leading to floods. She has since called on the Ministry of Water Development, Sanitation and Environmental Protection, the Ministry of Housing and Infrastructure, the Water Resource Management Authority WAMA and the Lusaka City Council LCC to actualize the slums upgrading project in order to bring sanity in affected communities.
The question that begs answers is that Has there been enough commitment to address the issue of unplanned settlements? The city planners know the consequences of rural-urban migration, which include the devastating aspect of informal settlements, but lack of practical interventions remains an issue. Various administrations have attempted to address the issue of unplanned settlements, but there has been no political will, even as at now, as housing development is among non-priority sectors despite its true importance to human dignity. According to experts, the quest to have access to land in Lusaka has forced people to occupy land in water recharge zones, thus disturbing the water table, while Wama remains toothless, and the people here are experiencing the consequences.
Then cholera, disease, and to create a toilet, you can see the toilet. My toilet also.
Even the current Lusaka mayor Mau Sampa is aware of this issue, but to think that it can be addressed before the expiry of his mandate is wishful thinking.
My priorities in my last 6 months now are 3. 1, garbage. That's why I'm here. Cleaning of the city. How you have 6 months? Men can't have dissolved the parliament. 2, floods. Enough floods all over the city. Houses are submerging. It's because the city wasn't properly planned. Kanyama wasn't planned. So we can't chase them. That problem all over. We need over $1 billion to fix the problem of the flood.
Beyond this rhetoric, it is in public domain that the Lusaka citywide slum upgrading and prevention strategy was developed about 6 years ago. According to the Lusaka City Council, the strategy was to gobble an estimated $500,000 or 3,500,000 kwacha. But is the Lusaka City Council in possession of these resources? Certainly not, due to competing needs amid limited resources. Civic Forum on Housing and Habitat Executive Director Grace Mutonga notes that upgrading slums requires concerted efforts among stakeholders to address.
When you look at most of these informal settlements, they were called informal settlements because these were areas which were not designated for human settlement. When you look at the geographical positioning of Lusaka, Lusaka is actually a plateau. And being a plateau, it's a high flat land. So some of these areas where floods are so prone, these are low-lying areas of the city. In some of these areas, I would love to mention that most of them are actually marshlands. And because they are marshlands, they are not supposed to have human beings settled there. They're actually supposed to be some form of water recharge zones. However, it's because of the systems and the gaps in the way we've been implementing development as a country.
The need to avert this disaster in wetting cannot be overemphasized. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
2 civil society organizations have accused an association established by eminent persons such as the former Lusaka Archbishop Telesphore Mpundu and others, calling itself Our Civic Duty Association OCIDA, of orchestrating conflict in the country's electoral system ahead of the 2021 general elections. Speaking to Camnet TV News in an interview, the Zambia Institute of Governance and Civil Liberties Advocacy Platform Chief Executive Officer Francis Chipili's main concern is that the decision taken by OCIDA to collect names of all Zambians who did not manage to register as voters so as to see how best they can be helped by the Electoral Commission of Zambia as ill-timed. Mr. Chipili has urged OCIDA leadership to respect the mandate of ECZ as opposed to bringing up attempts to sway it away from its established mandate of managing the electoral matters. Last week, OCIDA submitted names for unregistered voters to the Electoral Commission of Zambia with the hope that it will give a chance to those people to register. Details on this. Just when people thought the country has moved to the next level of the electoral process after the voter registration exercise was done, some organizations are bent on making sure that those that did not manage to be captured by the system for various reasons are captured in a special way. The voter registration exercise was done in 34 days, of which more than 7 million people were captured against a target of 8.4 million, representing 83.4% of the targeted voters. Our Civic Duty Association, OCIDA, last week submitted to ECZ a list of 195 eligible voters who failed to register as voters during the voter registration exercise with the hope that ECZ would register them. The names were drawn from Lusaka, Ndola, Mongo, Kasama, Chibombo, among other areas. But this development has not sat well with two CSOs among them, Z Club, who feel the decision by OCIDA is a recipe for anarchy.
It must come clean and tell the nation what it intends to do with the citizens' personal data that is collecting. It should not ride on the Electoral Commission of Zambia to orchestrate its hidden agenda. We are dismayed at the activities being undertaken by OCIDA. The attempts to draw and or force the Electoral Commission of Zambia register voters outside the registration window which the Commission had provided is absolutely unwelcome interference in the pre-election operation process of the Commission. These well-calculated superstitious schemes by OCIDA are being done to champion selfish agendas to position the country for pre- and post-election conflict arena and as a means to seek OCIDA's third force mission of political power, brokerage relevance. OCIDA must understand that the Electoral Commission of Zambia enjoys constitutional legitimacy, autonomy. OCIDA must therefore immediately cease its attempt to derail the progress that the Commission has scored in its pre-election cycle. OCIDA should look for other useful citizens' engagements pursuits that can contribute to the overall harmonious election year atmosphere. True patriots do not set their governance institution up for intentional conflict.
Z Club Chief Executive Officer Francis Chipili says the decision by OCIDA also undermines the authority of ECZ and that of the Republican Constitution.
Voter registration and many other activities relating to the electoral process under the Electoral Commission of Zambia are done in accordance with pre-established procedural processes. We find it rather odd that ECZ allegedly received names of people to be registered as submitted by OCIDA, knowing that the official allocated period for registration expired. The Electoral Commission of Zambia is mandated with cardinal roles in the country's democratic process. As independents, civil society, as well as members of the Democrats and Mother and Defenders Coalition, we expect the Electoral Commission of Zambia to follow the calendar they put up while it's ensuring transparency and integrity.
Meanwhile, OCIDA has justified their stance. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka. A development activist, Lewis Mwape, has described as unfortunate caused by some civil society organizations who are threatening diplomats to stop commenting on Zambia's politics ahead of the 2021 general elections. Some civil society organizations have called on ECZ to impose strict measures on international electoral observers coming from countries with high COVID-19 numbers and warned diplomats to stop commenting on internal politics. The CSOs, represented by Young African Leaders Initiative President Andrew Ntewewe, last week warned that they would not entertain foreign elements to meddle in Zambia's electoral process. But Mr. Mwape says such maneuvers have the potential to undermine the credibility of the August 12th general elections. Mr. Mwape says the statements targeted at foreign electoral observer missions and diplomats must not be entertained in a democratic state like country. He says if the country is keen to host transparent and accountable as well as credible elections, then such views must not be tolerated.
Let's do a correct thing. If you are credible If you are transparent, if your system is such that it will allow for accountability, to allow for transparency, there is no need for a country to fear to be monitored, because people will be providing mainly externally and internally. So I think it is the fear of the shadows, the fear for unknown. That's why we hear some people thinking that others, some international or diplomats, should be restricted. I think it's the fear for unknown. It is just an appeal to the Electoral Commission to ensure that the elections are conducted in a more credible, transparent, and accountable manner. In that way, there will be no need to fear for other people to come and monitor our elections, because we are actually setting standards that other jurisdictions can learn from. And that's the purpose of monitoring, observing elections. I have personally observed elections, I think, globally, and in many countries from Africa, from SADC region, and from international levels. And so this is a practice internationally, and so there is no need for even our colleagues in the civil society organization to fear.
Former Lusaka Deputy Mayor Port Fatembo has called for issue-based politics ahead of the 2021 general elections. Mr. Tembo has also called on the church to play an active role in discouraging political violence. He made the remarks when he congregated at the Chawama United Church of Zambia Wusokololo congregation, where he donated 40 bags of cement to outgoing retired Reverend Science Mabilima. And Mr. Tembo, who is also Chawama constituency aspiring Member of Parliament, reminded Christians on the need to take care of the clergymen. Details in this report.
The church is instrumental in national development and promoting good morals in society. Just like other clergymen, this is the role outgoing retired Reverend Mambelima has been playing in Chawama constituency. Sunday morning, former Lusaka City Deputy Mayor Port Fatembo led an entourage of UPND members to congregate at Chawama Wusokololo UCZ for a Thanksgiving ceremony. Mr. Tembo hailed Reverend Mambelima for playing his role in converting people into Christianity and mitigating criminal activities as well as prostitution in the area. He says in order to thank him for his works, he opted to donate 40 bags of cement.
That for him to raise a membership of more than 4,000 worshippers in the period that has been there, even building a church with a balcony in a locality like Chawama, has not been easy. It is to that effect that I decided, in my own capacity as a Chawama resident and an aspiring Member of Parliament, for Chawama to appreciate this man, I have given 40 bags of cement to respect the clergy. Many times we insult the clergy and we give them names. I don't want to be part and parcel of such a people. I want to appreciate pastors, not only at UCZ but across Chawama and Zambia as a whole.
And Mr. Tembo, who is also Chawama Constituency United Party for National Development, aspiring Member of Parliament, emphasized on the need to undertake issue-based politics ahead of the August pause.
Not want bloodshed because of elections, because somebody wants to become president or wants to become Member of Parliament, wants to become mayor or wants to become councillor, then we use violence. Port Fatembo is known of issue-based politics. He is not a violent person. Port Fatembo does not tolerate insults, politics of insults and betrayal. He is not involved in all that. And we want to preach peace as we get to 12 August 2021 elections, that there can be life and friendship after the elections. Elections should not be a do or die affair. It should be an affair to save the Zambian people, and people that want to save cannot kill each other. And so we condemn anyone else that may wish to bring violence. This is a Christian country, and we pray every 18th of October because we want to bring people together.
Donated
good number of bags of cement to a church. That's helping the community. That's supposed to be the case. So we are very grateful as a party to have aspiring candidates who are helping people on the ground.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Alliance for Community Action Executive Director LUARA MITI has urged ordinary citizens to take interest in understanding issues surrounding date as it has numerous consequences to national development. Last year, Zambia opted to bow out of a $42.5 million United States dollars Eurobond repayment, becoming the first African nation to default on its debt in the COVID-19 era. And Mrs. MITI explains that the country, witnessing several economic challenges such as the high rate of inflation, which has pushed up the cost of living, debt servicing is worsening the situation due to reduced spending to social sectors. She has emphasized that the current debt burden is as a result of arrogance exhibited by the Patriotic Front administration by ignoring warnings from critics on the need to desist from reckless borrowing. And Ms. MITI feels that the country has borrowed beyond its capacity to pay back, a situation described as unfortunate.
Debt must always pay itself, whether it's in our private lives or in public. The problem with Zambia is we borrowed money which we wasted, but just for the president, built roads at exponential prices, and generally stole most of it. It went into private pockets. Now we need, like that couple, they need to get from that 10,000 kwacha. Now 9,000 goes to debt repayment. Before they've paid rent, before they've bought food, before they've done everything, 9,000 has to go back to debt repayment. Therefore, from this 1,000 left, what will happen to their social welfare? Something, they'll either be unable to pay their rent, their children will be sent out of school. It's not because they're poor, because 10,000 is not a bad salary. It's because they've borrowed and wasted them. And that's exactly what the PF did with us. They borrowed money, stole it, wasted it. And now who is paying? We can't buy medicines. Students are dropping out of university here, UNZA CBU. We cannot give scholarships to people in colleges because there's no money. Meal allowances, you cannot give a student a scholarship and say you won't give a meal allowance. It makes absolutely no sense. So because we overborrowed and wasted the money and had no plan for it, we are unable to pay our basic bills, and that is what has happened to us.
A 31-year-old woman of Mukoshi district, identified as Miriam Chilala, two months ago traveled to Lusaka to search for her husband who had run away from the district after burning his 6-year-old stepson, has given up the search and has decided to return to Mukoshi. The woman says her search has hit a snag as she has failed to locate the runaway husband, whom she wanted to have arrested after burning her son. The assailant, identified as Morgan Mambwe, a bus driver, is accused of having burnt his stepson after his mother failed to prepare and serve him food on time. And Mr. Mambwe is said to have locked the boy in one of the bedrooms, where he touched the mattress and threw the boy on it. The boy was only rescued following repeated cries for help. The woman is, however, asking for financial assistance to enable her get back to Mukoshi, saying all her rations and savings have run out in her pursuit to pursue the man. The couple had been married for 5 years. Let's take a listen.
So kaisa kumatwa kuchechi vanhu vena tavaide kuchechi solo twawerere kuchechi twashire ipisha tungefya kulya tilikwisa na solo twafukata tulaipika twashire sendo mwana vaingira naye na munganda muleko mwambiro kwako muliro mwana fyapire kukonso kwalipya so twashire ono kwapilo mweshuma twashire ndimina bonati sakuno kulusaka vanshire nefumuli ne 7 months Vashilenge vaisakuna kulusaka visosende fyakukora fya mwana ifo naye mino kufuma kumukushupisa kumukulusaka atuise uikile background pachinika naikila background pachinika navatumina foni navashinya natuma foni navashinya so nomba nalipa papa ndinomwana kachinombe fyakukora fya mwana shikwete fili fyonse Pandela la pietila le na waba tsendero kusunga tole tsunga kofu. Katole la muso weke mu market. So nomba kulia baba nakashaba sendero ku atrain muke kale kulia kunganda. So nomba ko kwino ko twika tatule ikala kofu. Ndio nomba ko pyo wa kuirisho na transport ya kuwekera mu.
You're watching Camnet News. We take a break. Still to come and more interesting stories. Don't go away.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Well, Amwandi, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing. Don't tell me.
Yes!
I already know the secrets.
Oracle Pure Glycerin!
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbanda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Take control of your tax planning. Avoid penalties and interest. Returns and payments due by the 10th of the month for declarations of the previous month's transactions are pay as you earn and skills development levy. Returns and payments due by the 14th of the month are turnover tax, withholding tax, mineral royalty tax, tourism levy, gaming and baiting, presumptive tax. Returns and payments for all withholding VAT agents is the 16th of the month. Returns and payments for all VAT registered suppliers is the 18th of the month. Submit the returns and make payments on or before the respective due dates to avoid penalties on the late submission of returns and payments of taxes. Further, note that VAT tax invoices for all business-to-business and business-to-government transactions must bear the tip-in of the buyer without fail. Zambia Revenue Authority. My tax, your tax, our destiny.
You're watching Camnet News. Thank you so much for staying on. A pharmaceutical expert, Jerome Kanyika, has urged the Anti-Corruption Commission, ACC, to expedite its investigations of suspected corruption in the Mana Honeybee Pharmacy. Was awarded a contract by the Ministry of Health to supply medical kits worth 17 million United States dollars, which is about 357 million kwacha. Last week, ACC Public Relations Manager Timothy Mono indicated that the Commission has instituted investigations in the matter and the number of witnesses and suspects have already been interviewed in connection with the same matter. But speaking in a telephone interview with Camnet TV, Mr. Kanyika feels investigations have been long overdue and that there is need for the Anti-Corruption Commission to tell the public if there was any act of corruption in the matter or not, adding that it is every citizen's right to know. He wonders why, since August last year, the Anti-Corruption Commission has been investigating the matter, but nothing tangible has come out.
It is a welcome move that the Anti-Corruption Commission are trying to investigate the issue of honeybee, and we hope that the Anti-Corruption Commission this time do the correct thing and do the job in a quicker possible period of time, because the people of Zambia cannot continue just waiting to hear from the Anti-Corruption Commission, who said they started investigating in August 2020. And up to today, this is January 2021, they have not done anything. That is very much unacceptable and it is uncalled for. So what I'm asking the Anti-Corruption Commission, they need to do their work quickly, and there is no need of them to prolong in their investigation in this matter concerning ANBI, because the people of Zambia are still upset with what really happened, and the quantity of the product that the quality of the products that the ANBI pharmaceutical supplied to them. But as much as these things we are talking about ANBI, I'm still calling upon the Health Professional Council of Zambia to suspend the licenses for all the pharmacies that got involved in the distribution, and also that involved in the authorization of these products that were supplied by ANBI, because that now putting the people of Zambia at serious risk.
In a related matter, the Zambia Tax Platform, ZTP, has urged law enforcement agencies to investigate the findings of the Financial Intelligence Center report in relation to the financial crimes perpetrated over the period of 2019. In a statement issued to Camnet TV, ZTA coordinator Ibrahim Kamara notes that the report findings and revelations are not only aimed at educating the public on measures to detect, prevent and deter financial crimes, but also provide the basis and grounds for public prosecution for crimes. Mr. Kamara notes that the Trends report revealed the tax evasion and avoidance among multinational companies, particularly those in the extractive industry, robbed Zambia of much needed resources for development as profits are largely externalized. He has also noted that the high corruption levels have been listed in the Trends report, which investigative agencies must follow. ZTP therefore calls for stronger political will in the fight against financial crimes, especially as highlighted in the Financial Intelligence Center Trends report, adding that the failure by the authorities to act on the findings from the recent FIC report will result in the report becoming a mere academic exercise.
Would like to urge law enforcement authorities and agencies to take seriously issues which were raised in the last report released by the FIC, which is the Trends report for 2019. It is worrying that cases of abuse of resources and other financial crimes which have continued to be raised in the report have gone unpunished. Cases of corruption have also increased, and it is also worrying that perpetrators are actually those who are charged with authority. So it is our appeal as a Zambia Tax Platform that measures are taken to ensure that perpetrators are punished, because the report risks becoming just an academic exercise if nothing is done about these financial crimes. It is also our appeal to agencies, especially the Zambia Revenue Authority, to take keen interest in issues to deal with tax evasion and tax avoidance, which were published and which were released in the report, which shows that there's actually been an increase in practices leading to tax avoidance and tax evasion, which would in fact contribute to reduction of resources for the central government, which are in fact useful in such a time when we need to ensure that our economy thrives and also fight poverty and other challenges that the nation is facing.
The Lusaka City Council, LCC, has attributed delays in completing the construction of many civic centers within the city to financial constraints. LCC Public Relations Manager George Sichemba has, however, expressed confidence that the first quarter of 2021 some centers will be finalized. And Mr. Sichemba tells Camnet TV in an interview that the Matero and Kanyama constituency mini civic centers are among those that are likely to be completed soon. Meanwhile, Mr. Sichemba says in areas such as Chawama constituency, construction works have not started as they are still looking for land where the civic center will be constructed.
Last year we had a challenge in terms of finances. Our target was to complete them by last year, but we had a challenge in terms of finances due to a lot of negative effects of COVID-19, and also earlier on we had the gassing, and so we didn't collect as much as we could, and so the projects have lapsed in terms of time. And so they have been extended into this year, 2021. And our target as Lusaka City Council is that by the first quarter of 2021, we should see at least some of these mini civic centers done, so that we can quickly decentralize the services of the council. People stop coming to civic center here, for example, just for a simple thing. So we are looking into it that with all things being equal, by first quarter of this year, we should be done with at least 2 or 3 main civic centers.
Which ones are at least
the Kanyama one is at I think it's about 90%, and the one in Machero. So these are coming up nicely. But our plan is that all the 6, mind you, we are not constructing yet in Chawama, because we had a challenge of land there. Up to now, we are still looking for land, identify land, and start. So we are in 6 constituencies, and our target is that all the 6 should be done within this year.
The Citizens' Environmental and Social Concern has repeated its calls to government to completely ban the use of packaging materials such as plastic bags and their resultant waste. To enhance the implementation of the Environmental Management Act No. 12 of 2011, the government introduced a partial ban on the use of plastics through Statutory Instrument No. 65 of 2018 on Extended Producer Responsibility EPR. According to the Zambia Environmental Management Agency, ZEMA, all plastic carriers and flat bags need to adhere to the standard ZA's 719 developed by the Zambia Bureau of Standards, which stipulates that the plastic carrier bags need to be a minimum of 30 microns in thickness. But SESCO Executive Director Conwell Hakapia has observed that the partial ban on plastics has not produced any desired outcomes, hence calling on government to issue a pronouncement on the complete ban on the use of plastics that cannot decompose to help in preserving the environment. And Mr. Hakapia notes with concern that only a few companies generating plastic waste are fulfilling their responsibilities to minimize waste through treatment, reclamation, reuse, recovery, or recycling, hence the need to make it compulsory.
The problem, the law itself, even the EPR, encourages producers to be responsible, but not compelling them. So like the one you said, like Zambia Breweries, they have a goodwill. They've been doing that even before the EPR was instituted, you see. So now these other players have not heed to the advice. So now what is supposed to be done? They're supposed to be compelled. We need to have a law that is going to compel these people to be responsible. Even when you look at the word itself, extended producer responsibility, from a layman's point of view, it's simple. The producer should be responsible of their products from production through to disposal or recycling. So now that document itself does not compel the producers to be responsible. So now it encourages them to be responsible. So now they are not being encouraged. So now we need a law that is supposed to compel them to be responsible. They need to be made accountable for their products. We don't even know. I don't want to start throwing names. We don't even know how much plastic that they produce. There's no statistic of plastic that they produce from January to December. And every now and then, every single day, there's a new product that is wrapped up. There's a new water bottle, there's a new soft drink, there's a new everything. We don't know how much plastic they're producing. They have no plan on how they are going to take it out of the environment. It's each one for himself doing whatever that they are doing. So we need a law that is going to compel people to see to it that they are responsible for their products from production through to disposal.
Then on the other aspect, we tend to issues of flood.
Save Environment People's Agency SEPA is concerned with the increased cases of COVID-19 cases in the country, while it has been business as usual for many people. SEPA Chief Executive Officer Miley Smoke has called on women in markets and those trading from the streets to take COVID-19 preventive measures seriously before many lives are lost. Ms. Smoke has noted that this group of traders is more prone to getting affected with the virus, thus advising them to frequently sanitize and ensure that they are always wearing masks. She has also appealed to consumers to ensure that they follow the preventive measures to ensure that everyone is protected.
Save Environment and People Agency is concerned with the high numbers of COVID-19 in the country. Therefore, we would like to urge the women who sell in the market, on the street, that they should take COVID-19 very serious. They should mask up always. They should sanitize. We know that on the street there's no water, but make sure you have your sanitizer so that each time you are attending to a customer, you sanitize yourself, you have your mask on so that you protect yourself. And to those who are customers who are buying, please kindly also help these women by protecting yourself and protecting them. Protecting yourself by masking up and sanitize each time when you are trading. Even when you are handing over the money, please make sure that when you receive the money, you sanitize. We want really to bring these numbers down so that our country can go back to the normal, the way it used to be.
A Livingstone-based environmentalist has warned Zambians against using various trees for steaming as a concoction against coronavirus, to be wary that some plants may be poisonous. Benjamin Miwenge, who was appointed environmental ambassador by Southern Province Minister Edvai Hamukale last year, says he supports the idea of steaming against many ailments, including COVID-19, but advised that not all plants are recommended. Speaking to journalists in Livingstone, Mr. Benjamin Miwenge, popularly known as Uncle Benji, has since called on the need to stop the indiscriminate cutting of trees as they provide multi-medicinal benefits, as can be seen during this COVID-19 pandemic. Mr. Miwenge has also planted thousands of trees in Livingstone, saying according to his experience, steaming works well, but the proper consultation should be done before using any plant. The neem tree, eucalyptus leaves and lemon leaves are some of the plants he says can be used to treat various ailments.
Yes, COVID is here, and it's good that everybody has realized that it is around. And you know, sometimes it's a mistake that we always make. We don't prevent things when we hear that this is around and so on. Not until people start seeing people dying, that's when we start running around and so on. And this also brings us to a lot of things. I have seen a couple of people that have asked for different trees because they want to use them for steaming and things like that. I personally know that the steaming works, because when I was young, I used a lot of the steaming. We're using eucalyptus. You get a blanket, cover yourself, you boil the water, you put the leaves there and so on. So it works. And I think it's just the idea of sweating and remove all these toxins in the body and so on. And I suppose maybe this is why everybody is also looking for what to use for COVID. What I know is I've heard people have talked about eucalyptus leaves. And some people have also talked about neem. I know neem. I have a neem tree in my yard and use it for malaria and things like that. I suppose it may work for COVID as well. But I think somebody has to prescribe it for you to be able to use it correctly. So I think what is important, yes, that's why we've been trying to say, please, let's plant as many trees as possible, medicinal ones, fruits and so on. All those things can actually contribute a lot, because the more fruits you eat, the more you try to make your body a little bit strong and so on.
Moving on in the news, Zambia has recorded 9 COVID-19 related deaths in the last 24 hours. This brings the cumulative COVID-19 associated deaths in the country to 546. 3 other deaths are pending classification. The country has also recorded 1,531 new COVID-19 positive cases out of 8,749 tests done in the last 24 hours. This brings the cumulative cases of COVID-19 to 37,605, while on the positive side, 1,053 people have recovered from the disease, bringing the cumulative recoveries to 7,000. This is according to an update from the Ministry of Health. You're watching Camnet News. Just now we take a break. Still stay with us for international and sports news.
cowbell choco formula has been stolen. Get it back at all costs.
Tasting cowbell choco gives you the get up and go to be at the top of your game. Now with Vitality Plus Iron. Great tasting cowbell choco, a creamy chocolatey drink that helps give energy to get up and go.
Can I have that meal over there? And I really want that crispy, fresh apple taste in the garden. Can I have the apple?
I think I'll have my big bite 2 meal with happy waziwaka. Give us your
enjoy an appetizing big bite meal with an happy drink of your choice. A meal is not a meal without an happy drink. And now introducing Happy in a can.
Dr. Bigron, musaibala komutienda okuni gift na land. Uchitenkubeti uibise mojo basayone. Oh! Mwina moshi, nakuletera njinga. Latest inaluvesigia na mawaipa.
Difficult ya shidia njinga. Liam 19 pendef kondo. Transport, we got it.
Nanga phone for communication. Ipu sana chizungu. Yeah, you see what I mean?
It's a camera difficult.
It's communication. We got it. Inemomi! Powerful system ndimba X-Buzz.
Mufumile kukalale. Na mnaimo muli bakumushi. We got it. Yo Bikron, utole noleta nchemfule mungani. Ngecho wachira pose na nchitinshi. 1, 2, 3, both of you. Kabala ngempanga. Don't be stupid. We got it.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying on. We now look at international news. Uganda's main opposition presidential candidate Bobi Wine says his life is being threatened following Thursday's election, which saw Yoweri Museveni win the 60th elected term. The singer-turned-politician has rejected the results, citing several irregularities, but Mr. Museveni has called Uganda's first vote ever. Campaigning had been marred by violence in which dozens of people had died. Just ahead of voting day, government shut down internet, a move condemned by election monitors. Bobi Wine said he is not being allowed to leave his house, which was surrounded by security forces. The results give President Museveni 76 and in power since 1986, 5 more years to be president. Bobi Wine, however, says he will legally contest the results of the presidential election that saw incumbent President Yoweri Museveni announced the winner, asking his supporters to refrain from violence. Let's take a look at this video.
We also want to inform the world that our lives are in danger. Having survived assassination attempts on the campaign trail and now being confined at home, still we are being attacked at home by soldiers armed. They've not shown us, they've not told us what they intend to do, they've not told us why they're here. That our only security is letting the world know what is happening to our lives. It's letting the world know what the government of Uganda under General Museveni is doing to us. I am here alone with my wife, having sent our children away to avoid them witnessing this humiliation and keeping them out of danger.
We are not under legal detention, but the situation around us shows that we are under house arrest. I think it is shameless of our security agencies to do this to us, even when they know that the world is actually watching.
We will continue to monitor the post-election period in Uganda. Just now, we go straight into sports news. In sports news, the Football Association of Zambia National League side Maestro United has attributed its 2-0 loss to KONKOLA Blades on Saturday to lack of a stadium. The club has been using Choma's Independence Stadium after the Nakambala Stadium was closed to the public by the Zambia Sugar Company due to the surge in COVID-19 cases, forcing Mazabuka-based side to travel 136 kilometers to play their matches away from home. Speaking to journalists in a post-match interview after a 2-0 loss to KONKOLA Blades, MUZA coach Charles Daka bemoaned the players is fatigued covering long distance to fulfill its fixtures, hence losing the games. Daka says it is difficult for players to perform on a pitch that they only use on match day but training elsewhere, appealing to Zambia Sugar management to quickly open the Nakambala Stadium for them. And KONKOLA Blades coach Charles Wale says the win was a result of taking the few chances his side created, adding that it puts them in a good position for Super League or contention. The 2-0 win takes KONKOLA Blades to second on the table with 24 points after week 13.
I think we didn't come into the game today. I think we were too slow on the ball. Most of the times we made a lot of mistakes. We couldn't complete the passes. And again, the goalkeeping was not at its best today. So that's why we lost the game. We need a central defender, we need a left back. Again, we need a quality attacking midfield.
Does playing away from your usual home, which was Mazabuka in this case, affect your outcomes in terms of results for the team?
In a way, I would say yes, it has, because we just come here on the day of the game. We don't even train on this pitch. It could play a part in some way. For the moment, I think management are waiting flat out to negotiate for the pitch at Nakambala Stadium. I think a good response will come maybe before the turn of the second round.
I think when I look at this game, I think it was just a game of chances. You have the chances, you score. It was, if I look in terms of maybe ball possession or whatever, I think they were just 50-50. We just had the chances and we utilized them. I think even MUZA is a good team. And these guys, they know. And in Zambian football circles, KONKOLA Blades is not a small team, and definitely they know the tag of the team. So each and every game, we are pushing and will be pushing until we reach that end. Definitely we are cementing certain positions, because if you look at maybe our middle pack, you could tell to say yes, they were able to play one or two, but we need somebody with that creative mind.
Well, that's where we wrap it up for our news tonight. Let's just look at the headlines once again. Former Gender Deputy Minister in the Patriotic Front government, ESTHER BANDA, has died. LUARA MITI says Zambia's economy is bleeding due to the high debt coupled with high inflation. OCIDA comes under attack for wanting to help non-registered voters. And in international news, BOBI wine fearful for life after MUSEVENI win as he put under house arrest. And in sports news, MUZA FC attributes its loss to KONKOLA Blades to lack of a stadium. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, and it's coming from 1 Peter verse 5 to 10, and it reads, "Now the God of all grace, who called you to his eternal glory in Christ Jesus, will personally restore, establish, strengthen, and support you after you have suffered a little." That's all we had for you on the news desk. My name is Sharon Kalimbula. Remember to observe the COVID-19 health guidelines. My name is Sharon Kalimbula once again. Good night.